Hello everybody, this is Bison Crumbs and welcome back to my channel. Today we finish up going through YNAB, or You Need a Budget, all the way up to the present date, or as close to it as I can. And from this point forward, it should be every 2 weeks or every paycheck that I will be doing another video to keep more on track of what I naturally do in regards to budgeting and what most people do. And with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my journey so far and enjoy this last part of the catch-up journey. It's been a fun time, and from here on out, I should have a more standardized process to these videos. But until then, we are just flying by our seat and seeing where it goes. And so by the end of June, I made $1,570.65. We have 39 categories overspent. So we're going to see how far this money takes us. And if it doesn't take us as far as we need it to, we'll have to take it from other categories and see where that leaves us. I'm hoping that by the end of this video, I'm hoping that I haven't gone too much over, that I haven't drained all of my savings before I've caught up, which was the whole goal of this journey in the first place, was to see where I stand financially and keep track of it to the point where I can hopefully get ahead instead of being behind every month. This next month of July starts to bring new complications. We're looking for a new home, but we're probably going to have to move out in August instead of July, which was the original plan. And because of that, we'll have to pay a little bit extra in maybe moving costs, but definitely with the apartment, and see where that leaves us if we can actually afford to buy a bigger place or rent a bigger space. I know our cat would definitely enjoy a bigger space, but then we'll have to also pay the security deposits down on the new place, which would include our cat and all that, which our current residents didn't have us put a deposit down for the cat. So it's going to be a little bit of a mess coming soon, but that's why we're in this. We're in this to save money so we can realize these costs are coming and we have to save for them. And even just getting a general sense of saving towards these goals of moving into a new place, moving costs in general. It's the process of learning that all these are going to happen, and it's better to be prepared than behind. Or even if you are behind, you at least have foreknowledge of as much as you can. So it's less stress on you ultimately. Let's start with everything I spend monthly. So basic living, that's going to be my mortgage and rent, which is $448 from my half. The internet is included with that, so that's $36. Electricity, my half is $24.97, and home gas is $9.65. For my monthly subscriptions, I pay for YouTube Premium, which is $12.83 just for myself. My phone bill is $35. My monthly car payment to my parents is $184. I pay for Hulu and Disney Plus. And then, actually, it's not Comixology. It's going to be Marvel Unlimited, which I forgot to add as a category. Oh, there it is. So that'll be $10.69. And then I'm going to go change it in my accounts quick. Let's continue on. We're switching my account to reflect that more accurately. All right, so now that's fixed. And then I have Story Plotter, which is still that note-taking app that I haven't quite started yet, but I think I'm actually caught up with my notes, and I can finally start using that to an amount where it would be worth it, or I can at least test it to see if I can get rid of it. There are a lot of programs that I can transfer all my notes to, so I have a lot of choices that I have to try and see what works best for me and my brain. Yearly subscriptions, I'm not putting anything towards those yet. Insurance, also something I should be working towards, but I'm currently not. In an attempt to resell, we went over a lot of what I should have since I didn't sell very much of eBay, but I did end up buying a lot of supplies for eBay. So that plus a lot of the shipping ended up making me go under. So I had to put 3051 towards that to even it out. And then my second channel, I did 1069. So for hobbies, I've done a little bit everywhere in here this month. 1776 for completing the New 52, which is a comic series that I'm collecting from my bookshelf and reading a lot of them. But it's what got me into comics, so it has a special part of my life. And it's not super, I've got a lot of them, so I don't have a ton more to get. Kickstarter, I had a little bit of a foreign fee. In comics, I spent $5. Gas, this month we still spent a little bit, well, close to what we spent last month, so gas hasn't changed too much between the two. But that was $115.62. And then soda pop and energy drink. I know I said I wasn't going to spend very much more on this, but I ended up spending more because the new Spider-Verse movie came out and I got an offer from G Fuel if you went in stores to a vitamin shop and bought at least, I believe it was $40 in G Fuel products, you would be able to get a free shaker, which I now own. I really liked the Spider-Verse movie, so it wasn't too hard just to buy like tubs of G Fuel and get that. They're also cheaper there than the actual website, so that was pretty cool. But I did spend $70 to get a cup, so I think it's a collector's cup, so it's going to go up in value, but since I'm not selling it anytime soon, it is $70 for a cup, and it's debatable if that's actually worth it. But I would highly recommend the Spider-Verse 2 movie. I went to it twice in June here because I loved it so much the first time. The first one was super good, and then the second one just ups the animation by like 10, point where it's almost too crazy. Like sometimes I couldn't keep up with some of the action scenes or even just Spider-Punk walking around doing things because there's so much animation and maybe it's the colors or just the amount of noise on the screen for like visual noise that it made it a little bit hard to see what was happening or keep track of anything. And that's just for better or worse. Ultimately, I loved the movie. It was 9 or 10 out of 10. We'll see where the next one goes since there is a sequel in the works. We'll see when that actually releases due to some recent news I'll pop up here, but it's not the greatest news. And then haircut. I spent $30 on my haircut. I go to a special barber, but I had to wait for them, so I ended up going to a bookstore and buying a few too many books with the new 52. It was a whole thing, but liked my haircut. It came out pretty good. Cords. I broke one of my charging cords for my phone, so I spent $13.21 replacing that. General groceries, we spent $158.61 this month. Casual fast food, I spent $53.81 on myself. For two takes out the rest of my money with $259.30. We're down to $18.70, which is what I should have spent instead of 17 overspent still. And yeah, for casual fast food, I just spent a little bit too much at a restaurant for myself. But I want to try some new ramen place that's in town. And then we go down here. So entertainment, I got concessions. That was at my movie theater. I just got a popcorn refill. And then rentals. I ended up renting at Redbox, Puss in Boots 2. The Last Wish was actually really good. I didn't expect that since I had heard it's good, but I didn't really like the first Puss in Boots movie. It was definitely a spin-off that didn't need to exist for the first one. But the second one, I really enjoyed the cast of characters and each one having their own journey, even ones I didn't really expect to get a journey and like a conclusion. So it was well worth it and very pretty animation, honestly. Ross, we're not touching. Well, actually, Ross 2023, I always forget that I put $100 towards it, and I need to fix that in my mind. So between my two Alliant credit unions accounts, which should be wrapping up here in August, should equal this amount. So it's going to be, and you can actually do the math in YNAB. I know it's probably just $100, but I like to double check the math just in case. So 12, 19.23 plus the 33.13, and then we minus the amount over here. So our total right now was 1152.36. And yep, $100. Very cool. Very cool to watch it go negative too. That aside, VCU Emergency Fund. This money just goes directly into my rainy day funds. That is Doctor, Dentist, Auto. But I make sure to minus the 1 cent. And we'll continue putting 1 cent towards the dentist at a time. And then Wealthfront savings. This is all the dividend income from Wealthfront that I get. It is my high yield savings account. So with that, we got 275, and that money just goes directly into the same things with the rainy day funds. So we'll minus 2.75 and apply directly here. And I'm not taking out of any of these categories quite yet. We're gonna see if I should just take it all out of my account from January. My Roth 2022 is a dividend account that I had spent all of 2020 building up, and I ended up dismantling it to finally get ahead of my budget and focus on YNAB as a priority. So these accounts just stay the same. A lot of money is going into this Pokemon commission, and that's just because I haven't quite decided what me and my wife are applying our joint savings account to. It's going to be for like a honeymoon or vacation or just general savings, but we're going to talk a little bit more on that. And I'm just putting in a category to not get it messed up with everything else I've put in to like these categories by myself. DLC, I spent $10.69 this month on DLC for video games. And then I guess I spent a little bit more, it says. So on Xbox, but PlayStation games, I spent $21.39. That was on the Spider-Man Miles Morales game. I had never finished the first Spider-Man game, so I used the chance when I was dog sitting for my parents to play through a lot more of that to try to get through that before the end of the weekend. I didn't, but I got a lot further in the PS4 game. I almost completed that, and it's been years since I had bought it, so that felt pretty good. I tried to do a lot of productive things during my times dog sitting between my dog trying to get me up very early. And for Xbox games, I just spent $20 buying a few at the bookstore. Then for dinner date, I spent $10, not $100. An extra love, I spent $39 on my wife. And for her birthday, I started buying things for her, and that was $22 so far, or $20.22. We're trying to keep it a little bit low-key this year, is what I'm thinking, just because we are both a little bit low on money and everything's changing in the coming month or two. So I'm hoping to do something still nice for her. I will look through what I have and then kind of decide from there what the birthday is going to look like. And then Father's Day, I ended up spending $69.53 on my father. My brother actually owes me some of that, so I think I'm going to send him a Venmo message right now. But continuing on, for work birthdays, I ended up spending $21. I didn't buy my coworkers a whole lot this year, so at least for the newer guy, I decided to spend a little bit. We usually only spend $20 anyways. For one of my coworkers, I donate to an ocean conservatory, and then one of the other ones, I just bought him socks the last year. But since we were all poor, we mainly just bought it for the new guy this year and didn't do anything for each other really. The wish farms need to be culled a little bit. But then for my pets, my cat was a little expensive this month. So litter, $27. We bought Pretty Litter. It's working really well so far. Still haven't decided how often we should change it, since you're supposed to do it a lot less, but it's been interesting. I'd go with unscented over lavender, but I didn't really realize they had a lavender scent, and I'm glad I looked closer before I bought. Pet accessories, we spent $27. And then a few pet toys. We bought some new pet toys to keep him entertained. Continuing on though, in the house I bought a few more containers just to help with the moving process and storage. Contributions just stay to the side. Wife payback. Spent $103 there. Walking cash, I took out $22.28. That was closing my Arbor bank account. I didn't want it anymore, so I got all the bonuses I wanted from it, and I am really trying to cut down on general accounts that I have anyways. And then fees, $32.95. I use a debit card for my rent, so it's usually about $3, but I also missed a payment on Discover. I was a little bit late, so the first one bounced and then the second one didn't. They still charged me $30 for that. Got to keep track of that a little bit closer than I did this month. I think I got distracted with the holidays and dog sitting. That brings us down to $441 in the negative, which is not good. So the first step is we're going into these wedding categories and basically draining them. I already drained them from my actual Yada account to pay for things. Oh, that's the wrong way. Negative 75. So I was kind of expecting those to go down the drain there. It is for just a second anniversary and stuff, and I am putting money away through my joint savings account for like a honeymoon anyways. So that's not a huge loss. It's a step back, but I am putting more into it than I normally did. And I have it at, I believe 10% just goes into joint savings. So if I want to add more, if I have money to add more, I will in the future. But for now, it's just a straight 10% of my paycheck. And that's already more than I spent saving $25 a month. But that's all going into Pokemon commission for now, just so these changes can go into effect. So we're still negative 200. Which will probably just come from my Roth. Thinking to the future, what I'm going to do is apply a few different things. Let's do this real quick. I have, 2 more months on my 2023 Roth? Yeah, I have 2 more $100 transfers to my Roth 2023, my Alliant accounts, just to make sure I get the bonus there this time. If you've been following me, I missed my requirements for the checking account. I thought it was just transfer one thing monthly. It turned out it was a little bit more than that. So with the bank churning, I did miss that bonus. And I'm going for the second bonus, which I was still correct on the requirements and going strong on that. But so I don't have to keep changing this. We're going to do the plus 200, which I already have set aside to do that. And that'll be the next 2 months. That puts me through August, just in case I need an August transfer. I don't think I do, but that's just in case. And that puts us there, 300. So then we're going to minus the full amount from my Roth IRA. Because since the beginning of the year, I have drained the full amount, which was over 2 grand, over 4,500. So I started taking out I started in March. So March I took out 2,000, 1,000 in April, 600 May, 400 June. So I have at least been pretty consistent in going down in this amount. And this is kind of where you see that the budgeting has been working, at least in some part. Because I was catching up, I didn't quite keep track of it as much as I should have been. But as of today, we are caught up, and I have been spending less month to month since starting this journey to hold myself accountable. So, to look at the bright side, it's gone from, well, the 2K was the beginning of the year and overspending in general. But since the next month of April, we went from, what did I just say, 1,500? 1,200. We went from 1,200 to only $400. These last 2 months a little bit less than the dramatic jump of half of it, but it is still going pretty strong and the decreasing. And then aside from that, I have the decrease of $36, which these are all important categories to me, which makes this a lot harder. We'll do auto maintenance just because it's the highest. But that drains my accounts and doesn't quite account for everything in general anyways. But that's as close as we're going to get for now. Because what is this all combined? Altogether, it's $108. And this is all an amount that should match 2 of these accounts together. So I'm not sure it can last another month, honestly. So my next video should be deleting a lot of categories and figuring out exactly where all this money goes. Because of the amount of accounts, I think I've gotten lost in a little bit of the, could say, bureaucracy of it all. Like the emergency fund should be exactly this amount. Well, minus 70 since I just put in money at the beginning of today, July. So deleting the $70 puts me at 141, and because of the subtraction, I'm a little bit under that. So all in all, not too shabby, I guess. So yeah, I should have more answers for you soon on all the rest as I complete what I'm deleting from this and how I'm reorganizing and restructuring all my accounts. Aside from that, I believe that's all I had to say for this month. But this has been a bison's journey of making crumbs on the prairie. I hope you all had a wonderful month, and I hope you all have a wonderful month to come. Continue to put out kindness, goodness, and love into the world, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.